What if I told you that the US military and other governments of the world have frequency technology that can remote control you, that can make you hear things in your head and make you believe it's you, or even make you believe it's God talking to you, that can even make you feel like you're in significant amounts of pain, make you feel like you're on fire, make you want to vomit? This technology is revolutionary and has been around for a while. As a matter of fact, what if I told you I talked about this over 8 years ago in my book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, and now it's been made public? Hang tight because it's going to be a great podcast tonight. We're going to talk about this and so many more other things on the Forbidden Knowledge podcast. Forbidden Knowledge Television.
This is logged in on November 25th, 2023, Eastern Standard Time. Sensitive material has been breached and it is now in front of the public. This is very sensitive documentation and the world will be in total chaos if leaked, and it is now leaked. All of it. Not one document, all of it. Place of exploitation, Forbidden Knowledge Television. This must be stopped.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Forbidden Knowledge podcast. It is going to be a great talk tonight. I'm going to activate Instagram as well. Let's get Instagram going live here. And, like I said in the beginning, what if I told you that we're in an age where frequency technology actually exists? And this frequency technology has now been made public on the grandest scale. It's been talked about for decades, right? It's been talked about for decades. Some small semblance of the technology has been declassified and released to the public. And I talked about this 8 years ago in my book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, on page, I believe, in 47 in the soft cover. Let's just see if my memory serves me correct. Page 47 in the soft cover version of the book, okay? You can see right here, the active denial system created by the US military, initially a DARPA project. And why am I bringing this up today? Because just a few days ago on 60 Minutes, of course, a major journalistic review of technology, politics, diplomacy, and other issues going on all around the world are talked about respectfully on 60 Minutes. Well, they just talked about this technology just a few days ago. And so if you're just joining right now, make sure you click the like button. Make sure you share this video, okay? Click that like button and share the video. It's going to be a great talk tonight. Let's get some more people in the live chat and let's get this thing popping, okay? Because, wow, this is a good one tonight. I'm going to be talking about technology that I exposed and talked about 8 years ago, which is now being talked about in the mainstream recently as if it's some type of newly released unknown technology. But what it's doing to people is going to shock you. How they're utilizing this technology is going to shock you, okay? And that's what it's all about. We want to wake up the masses to the reality of what's really going on. Okay, so again, click the like button if you're not a subscriber of the channel that you're watching from. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube, 2 different YouTube accounts, and we're also live on Instagram at this very moment. Okay, so click that like button, share the video, no matter where you are. And we're going to talk about this tonight and another piece of technology that I actually invented myself. We're going to talk briefly about that tonight as well towards the end. We're going to be talking about my 4BK BioKey, which is my breathonomics technology device that I invented, which is right now patent pending. Okay. So welcome to the Forbidden Knowledge podcast. Thank you for hanging out. I see the live chat is popping. Okay. We just want to get this thing going and get the people in here, as many people in here as we possibly can so we can get into this. Now, as I was talking about this topic just a few days ago to someone, because the subject came up that they saw me on Sean Ryan's show talking about technology that was a frequency weapon based on ancient text. And so I had mentioned, this is real technology that existed in the ancient past. And it was talked about in the Emerald Tablets, where Thoth talks about getting into the great ship of the master, he says. And as he rose into the sky, which means this ship isn't sailing on the ocean, as he rose into the sky, he says that he then rose so high that the planet literally just disappeared. And then he got to the place appointed, and he said beneath him, he can see the children of the land of Chem. He's talking about ancient Kemet. And he can see that the water had been receding because this was after the great flood. And he says that the rush of the fountains had stopped and the ancient temples were coming up out of the mud. And so he says he begins to descend. So he's coming from the up above down to the ground in the great ship of the master, in his sky ship with his crew on board, by the way. He was sent there on a mission by Thoth-Me, which is also known as Enki from the ancient Sumerian tablets. And he says, as he opened the doors to his ship to come out, he said the hairy barbarians came to attack him with cudgels and spears, seeking to utterly destroy the sons of Atlantis. And he says, then I raised my staff and sent out a ray of vibration, stopping them still as stone of the mountain. So he had this non-lethal vibrational stun weapon that when he hit them with this beam from his staff that he raised up, it froze them like fragments of stone in the mountain. And then he said, then I released them from the frequency. So he turned it off, and then they were able to move again. But they recognized something incredible had happened. And so then they dropped down and began to grovel at his feet. And he says, no. He said, I am a son of Atlantis, and I'm here to bring you back up to a high level of civilization. So that means that Kemet, prior to that global disaster, that catastrophic flood, had already been a high level civilization, had already been high technology. And he says, I'm coming here now to assist and help bring you back the knowledge, bring you back to civility, bring you back to a high civilization. He said, I am a son of Atlantis. He didn't say I was God. He didn't say worship me. He didn't say pray to me and I'll grant you some wishes. He said, I am a son of Atlantis, and I'm here to bring you back up to a high level of civilization. Incredible, right? And so in page 47, that's what prompted me to bring up this declassified technology 8 years ago. This is a larger version of it. Okay, it's called the active denial system. This particular version sits on the top of a military truck. The active denial system is needed in light of the fact that it's a non-lethal and counter workforce system, much more than the present day lethal weapons. The active denial system delivers the effects of a non-lethal weapon that is similar impact, that has a similar impact on every single human target. So this is a non-lethal system that when they send out a ray of vibration, an invisible beam from this object, from this technology, it has a lot of effects on the human body. And it seems like almost every day now, what I wrote 8 years ago in this book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, is just coming to manifestation, coming to be true, coming to be venerated as real knowledge that actually exists based on what happened in these ancient tablets. So just over every single week, there's something new being discovered, something being revealed, something being declassified. Discoveries underneath the Giza Plateau that I talked about 8 years ago, right? oh, it's that on page, is that page 36? What page is that? You know, page 34, where I talked about what was hidden under the Giza Plateau, columns going down beneath the ground, and I rendered an image 8 years ago, and now that's been discovered, and I say they go on for miles. That's been discovered. The ability to turn photons and cymatic frequencies into solid matter, which is talked about in the Emerald Tablets. Now, just 2 years ago, and I wrote the book 8 years ago, 2 years ago, two scientists in the UK combined photons and cymatic frequencies to manifest solid matter. It's all coming to fruition. It's all popping right now, all of it, every single piece of it. So to all the naysayers and the haters and the trolls and everything else, knowledge speaks for itself. And here we now have the frequency technology that's being utilized against people, been declassified, but now they've miniaturized this technology into the size of a handheld weapon, just like the staff that Thoth raised in the beginning verses of the Emerald Tablets, which was written thousands of years ago. Interesting, huh? Very interesting. Let's take a listen to this clip.
Independent sources from different agencies tell us that undercover Homeland Security agents purchased a miniaturized microwave weapon from a complex Russian criminal network. It's classified, we didn't see it, but it has been described to us. We are told it doesn't look anything like a gun. It's designed to be concealed and small enough to be carried by a person. It is silent and doesn't create heat like a microwave oven. Our sources say the device is programmable for different scenarios and can be operated by remote control. The range of the beam is several hundred feet. It can penetrate windows and drywall. The vital components were made in Russia. Our sources say the key is not the hardware, but the software. The programming shapes a unique electromagnetic wave that rises and falls abruptly and pulses rapidly.
Pulsed microwave radiation.
Just what Dr. David Relman's investigations predicted. He wouldn't talk about classified information in our interview, but his research found that Russian scientists had been perfecting the concept for decades.
And what the Russians spoke about was the importance of the energy being pulsed in order to have biological effects on humans. When you produce pulses like this, you can actually stimulate electrically active tissue like brain tissue, and the heart for that matter, mimicking what the brain normally does, but now you're driving it with your pulses from the outside.
An ideal stealth weapon.
Ideal. Because literally, the person feels as if this is in my head.
Our confidential sources tell us the still classified weapon has been tested in a U.S. military lab for more than a year. Tests on rats and sheep show injuries consistent with those seen in humans.
Very interesting. Now, let me go in and read directly from the Emerald Tablets. So, because then I'm going to show you a couple more clips. So Thoth said his father actually told him, "Take them by the arts that ye have learned far across the waters until ye reach the land of the hairy barbarians, dwelling in the caves of the desert." His dad tells him, "Follow there the plan that ye know of." He's talking about the plan of raising them back to a high level of civilization. He's going on a rescue mission, basically. So Thoth says, "Gather thy then my people." So he's got a crew, a team of people with him. He's not by himself. Gathered I then my people and entered into the great ship of the master. And he says, upward we rose into the morning. He didn't say we got into the great ship and sailed out. He said, upward we rose into the morning. He says, dark beneath us lay the temple. Suddenly over it rose the waters, vanished from Earth. They've gone into the upper atmosphere. So now they've rose above the waters. So now they're in the upper atmosphere and then vanished from Earth. Now they're gone into space. Until the time appointed was the great temple. So now they're traveling. So now they're traveling. They have a particular longitude, latitude, right? They have a target that they've got to go hit, so that now they're traveling. So until the time appointed was the great temple. Fast we fled towards the sun of the morning, until beneath lay the land of the children of Chem. So they've traveled to the point where now they can see the children of the land of Chem. So they descend in this skyship, and he says, raging they came with cudgels and spears, lifted in anger, seeking to slay and utterly destroy the sons of Atlantis. Why would they do that? Well, they're defending their territory. They're scared. They don't know what the hell this is. They're in a lowered state of consciousness at this point. They've lost all their technology. Maybe 1 or 2 generations have gone by. Everything has been disconnected. And now this is all about, going back from a golden age back into a bronze age, starting over again. He says, then I raised my staff and directed a ray of vibration, striking them still in their tracks as fragments of stone of the mountain. This is his frequency technology. This is his non-lethal frequency weapon. I say, Thoth provides us evidence of a weapon of unknown technology. It is a ray gun or some type of a stun weapon, or the use of a sonic vibration wave that was able to subdue the attackers. That's my commentary. And then Thoth says to them, then I spoke to them in words of calm and peace, telling them of the might of Atlantis, saying we are children of the sun and its messengers. Thoth never said that they were gods. He always referenced himself as a son of man or a son of Atlantis. And then he says to the people, he said, cowed I them by my display of magic science. Magic science, it translates into advanced technology. So cowed them means that he's dazzled, he's mesmerized them. He's pulling out his doodads and his little technological devices, and he's showing them he's got tech, and it's got them mesmerized. He says, until at my feet they groveled. When I released them, long dwelt we in the land of Chem, long and yet long again. So they were there for quite some time, until obeying the commands of the master. What were the commands of the master? To rebuild the land of Kemet. And then he said, then I sent from me the sons of Atlantis. I sent them in many directions. So now what he's saying is, after we stayed there for quite some time, maybe decades, maybe hundreds of years, rebuilding this advanced civilization, he said, then he told his crew to spread out and duplicate what we did here. I sent them in many directions, that from the womb of time, wisdom might rise again in her children. So he's saying that he sent them around the world to rescue all the other parts of Atlantis, which was global, and bring them back to a higher level, utilizing Kemet as the template. He says, long time dwelt I in the land of Chem, doing great works by the wisdom within me, teaching chemistry, alchemy, alchemy, come from the land of Kemet, knowledge, wisdom, thought, consciousness, mystery schools, all that originates there. And then his crew spread out around the planet and duplicated this knowledge and this wisdom and these teachings, and of course, all the ancient construction techniques. That's why they're all so similar and mostly on the same 33rd degree parallel, no matter where you go around this earth. All right. Interesting stuff going on there. And, so we're talking about the active denial system as being a potential copy, a directed energy weapon or frequency-based crowd control. And it's all about emerging technologies that really raise a disturbing question. What happens when force no longer needs bullets? What happens when pain can be projected invisibly? Right? That's what this is, an invisible beam weapon. What happens when sound can be targeted so precisely that only one person can hear it? They have a weapon that can go around through people in a crowd and hit one particular person's ear, the target person. It can only hit them in their ear. And what happens when battlefields move from the body into the nervous system, into perception itself, to create a completely different perception coming out of the person's mind and projecting that as their new reality? This is not science fiction. The United States military has already done this. They've openly developed non-lethal directed energy systems, including the active denial technology that I talked about in my book 8 years ago. And official descriptions of these systems, they're talking about things like high power millimeter wave systems that operate around 95 gigahertz. And they've been designed to create intense heating sensations on the body, on the surface of the skin. And they can make you want to vomit. They can create sounds and voices in your head. And the joint program that they've got there with the other parts of the military have allowed them to develop this thing in ways that we're just beginning to hear about and beginning to understand. They've taken that massive version of it that I wrote about in my book and taken that declassified image from the military website, the military.gov, and they've now shrunk this thing down into the size of a hand weapon. Like Thoth says, he raised a staff. That means he had it in his hands, right? And this thing is high power, 95 gigahertz. It's a 95 gigahertz millimeter wave system. So it's highly directed. So when you're talking about a millimeter wave, usually when a wave goes out, it spreads. This thing doesn't spread, it's directed. So it's got a focused beam, okay? And so that's really powerful stuff. You're talking about something that can really be particularly directed exactly where they want it. It's not a taser, okay? It's not a rubber bullet. This is a different type of tech. It's not pepper spray. This is really some sci-fi, Star Wars, Star Trek. It's an invisible beam of electromagnetic energy that literally interacts with the human body. That's wild. And let's take a look at another clip here. Let's take a look at another clip. Let's take a look back in time when I talked about this on a big podcast, which would be the Sean Ryan Show. That would have been about now 4 years ago. The denial system in the military is this dish that sends out a beam of frequency towards people that are looking to do harm, right? Mobs, and it'll make you stop in your tracks. It'll make you feel like you got to vomit. It'll make you feel like you're on fire. It can even put voices in your head. It's called the active denial system in the military. Well, in the Emerald Tablets, Thoth has this group of people coming at him because they don't know who he is when he lands his ship. He says, I raised my staff and sent out a ray of vibration which stopped them still in their tracks. Sounds like the active denial system to me. Same technology, just a different year. So I go over I keep putting these in my book to show the commonalities between the two, because what we're doing now, we're just simply rediscovering everything that already existed. Everything has already been done. We're just rediscovering what we lost. That was the Sean Ryan Show. And here's more recent. That can freeze you in your tracks. And we have something just like that now in the military called the active denial system. They can send a beam at a crowd coming to attack and make them stop still right in their tracks. They can make you feel like you're on fire, make you feel like you want to vomit. They can even put voices in your head. They can make you be in extreme do It's called the active denial system. So he's talking about technology back then that we have right now.
Could you go look up that? Because do you think that's what that Havana syndrome thing is?
It's possible, man. This thing, if you put it above, like in the sky, and aim it at an area and it beam spreads a little bit, you can create mass illness, mass sickness, mass hysteria. That was on Joe Rogan a couple of years ago.
A new tool to ease tensions with crowds, but they're not using it just yet. Peter Ducey in advance tries it out for himself.
You can't see it, hear it, or smell it, but it makes unruly mobs do this. The Defense Department's active denial system, a non-lethal weapon that can be used to control crowds, secure perimeters, and keep pirates at bay. It could be a game changer.
This is one of the things that we can shoot first and ask questions later. Normally you can't do that.
The military says the active denial system is not radioactive, it's not a microwave, and it's not a laser beam. It's instead a man-sized beam of millimeter waves that can be fired from up to 1,000 meters away that are designed to get the subject, whoever's standing on this X, really, really hot so that they move. And it's about 50 degrees out here right now, but I just felt like it was about 1,000, and I've never been inside a tub that somebody dropped a hairdryer in, but I would imagine that that's what it feels like. After about 1.5 seconds, 1/64th of an inch of my skin was 130 degrees, but as soon as I stepped away, it was over, and the DoD says there aren't any lingering effects.
There's no cancer risk, there's no risk to a fetus or reproductive capability, it's just heat.
But the DoD admits this system does have a drawback.
We are propagating through the air. We are, therefore, relatively line of sight. And so we need to be line of sight with targets.
A prototype costs $10 million, and there are no plans to deploy one anytime soon. At Marine Base Quantico in Virginia.
Woke up in the middle of the night with an incredible case of vertigo. The room was spinning. I wanted to throw up.
Mark Polymeropoulos, a former U.S. intelligence officer at the CIA, was hit in 2017 by an invisible attack in a Moscow hotel.
I'd been in places like, Iraq and Afghanistan I'd been shot at, but this was by far the most terrifying experience of my life.
It's a mystery that's plagued the U.S. intelligence community and the State Department for years. An attack which brain experts now say was likely the result of a microwave weapon, hitting American personnel in Cuba, China, Russia, and other places around the globe. The U.S. government has not identified the perpetrator, but current and former U.S. officials believe Russia is to blame. The Russian government did not respond to CNN's request for comment. The attack impacted his balance, sight, and hearing. The pain has never wholly subsided.
I couldn't, make it through the day, not even close. I've had a headache every day since that night in Moscow. It's never gone away day and night.
He had to retire early, and for a dedicated CIA officer who spent his entire career fighting terrorists in the Middle East, it hasn't been easy to accept that an invisible strike took him out of the game.
I rather would have been shot. This was a silent wound.
You would have rather been shot?
Absolutely.
Why?
It's something that I could have shown people. I had a really hard time initially at the agency because people didn't necessarily, the senior medical staff didn't necessarily believe me.
Polymeropoulos had to fight to get expert health care. Just this month, he finished specialized treatment at Walter Reed Medical Center, more than 3 years after that traumatic night in Moscow.
When they provided me the piece of paper with the diagnosis that said I had a traumatic brain injury, I had tears in my eyes.
Some 40 U.S. government officials have experienced symptoms similar to his. In 2017, the U.S. Embassy in Cuba slashed its staff because the attacks were so pervasive. A newly declassified State Department report points to systemic disorganization when the department began handling this crisis during the Trump administration. New Hampshire Senator Jeanne Shaheen has been fighting to get the victims medical assistance and answers about who did this.
If we don't hold those responsible accountable, then we can be sure it's going to continue to happen. And that's a national security risk to the United States and to our personnel.
According to U.S. intelligence documents obtained by CNN, Russia has been developing this microwave attack capability for decades. Today, Bill Burns, President Biden's nominee to lead the CIA, telling Congress,
I will have no higher priority than taking care of people, of colleagues and their families. I will make it an extraordinarily high priority to get to the bottom of who's responsible for the attacks.
Polymeropoulos created a Superman mask in art therapy, thrusting a dagger through Superman's skull to represent the headaches which have changed him. The CIA agency seal cracked. His family was emotional when he showed them his project.
My son and my daughter both said to me, Dad, you're still my Superman.
Before the attack happened, how would you describe your relationship with the agency in, 1 or 2 words?
It's a love affair.
And after?
A divorce, with perhaps some reconciliation in the future, I would hope.
Well, one video, they say it's completely safe. Nothing's going to happen to you. You can even be pregnant and get hit with this beam. And then the next video, we see an actual CIA operative that has been pretty much impaled and got a brain injury for life, and they're trying to blame it on Russia. Well, America has the same technology. Russia has the technology. China has the same technology. All 3 big countries have the same tech. And this technology is not just for putting pain. This technology can remote control you. This technology can make you do things. It can make you see things. It can make you hear things, right? That's really what this technology can do. It's a lot more than what you think. This technology can maybe even remote control people. Imagine you're in a situation where this device is putting voices and sounds in your head, and it goes into the remote control frequency, and it's telling you, or they're programming your mind to tell you to do things, to act out particular things like crimes, like maybe assassination attempts, like maybe walking into a church and with a gun and shooting, like maybe going into a synagogue and doing that, or maybe even going to a grocery store or a mall, maybe an elementary school. So this technology is very dangerous because of what it can do. It has the capability of doing a lot of significant damage by reprogramming the mind and making you think you're acting on your own accord when you're really not. Now, I'm trying to find this other video that I had, this other video, which was in reference to some testing that they had done on, I think it was a bull. And so I'm looking for that because I really want to be able to show you that as well. They were testing this on a bull, and yeah, it's not in here. Okay, I got to find that real quick, and I'm going to upload it to you real quick because I want you to see how long they've been working on developing this technology. This is not something that just showed up within the last 10 years. This is something that they've been actively working on for quite some time. And we are just now being made privy to what it can do, the capabilities behind it, how dangerous it is, and how they are, in my opinion, my personal opinion now, this isn't written anywhere, but my personal opinion, that they are covertly utilizing this type of technology to create a lot of the situations that we've seen happening around the United States. Mass shootings, so they can create more gun laws, assassination attempts. Not Boy, I tell you, they don't like me talking about this stuff. I had to reset the server real quick. They don't want me talking about this. They do not want me talking about this. I'm going to say it again. What I was saying, I personally believe, my opinion, is that they're utilizing this type of technology so that they can remote control people. that they can put voices in their heads so that they can influence them, making it think it was their own accord to put them at the scene of crimes like mass shootings at churches, synagogues, schools, movie theaters, malls, right? That they could put these people at the scene, or put in their mind that they want to be involved in some type of a potential assassination attempt. And then, not that these people can actually act out the assassination, not that they have the skill or the talent to actually really execute it, but it puts them there at the scene, and it puts them a weapon in their hand or nearby, while the real true operatives and the assets commit the actual crime or attempt to commit the crime. They now have a fall guy, like the ones that we always see that take the fall for a much more advanced operation. Random people, random kids with no skill, talent, or any type of a training whatsoever end up taking the fall for a much deeper operation going on behind the scenes, one that we're not privy to. And then these random people, they just randomly pop up all of a sudden to commit these egregious acts. In my personal opinion, maybe not all of them, but I believe that most of them are victims of being controlled with a frequency type of a weapon. That's my personal opinion, and I'm sticking with that. I did upload another video while I had my technical difficulties. All of a sudden, just randomly just shut my whole feed down, shut my audio down. So weird. I'm gonna see if I can grab this video that I just uploaded from my phone. I want you to watch this, and I want you to see how long they've been working on this type of technology. It's been for quite some time that they've been doing this. And I want you to see how they can control, how they can remote control a bull, an actual bull, a very dangerous animal. Let's take a look at this. Let me see if I can pull this up. That's not it there. Here we go.
Electronic mind control research is not new. A scientific milestone in this area came in the 1960s when Dr. Jose Delgado demonstrated remote control over a charging bull. By connecting a radio antenna to electrodes inserted into the bull's brain, Delgado proved that the animal's aggressive impulses could be thwarted by electronically manipulating the bull's muscle reflexes.
Do you realize the fantastic possibilities if from the outside we could modify the inside? Could we give messages to the inside? But the beauty is that now we are not using electrodes.
In recent years, Delgado has shown that the behavior of monkeys can be altered using low-power, pulsating magnetic fields. But in these experiments, there were no antenna implants.
Any function in the brain, emotions, intellect, personality, well, could be perhaps modified by this non-invasive technology.
Delgado's research has so far been limited to animals. But in the Soviet Union, a radio frequency, or RF device, has been used for over 30 years to manipulate the moods of mental patients.
They have been working on this for a very, very long time. It's been studied for decades, and it involves perception of clicks, buzzes, knocking sounds, and other auditory sensations. And it's all done by radio frequencies, microwave energy, gigahertz beams. They really have got this technology on lock, and now they have minimized it, miniaturized it to actual handheld device, just like what was talked about in the animal tablets. So the next time you hear of a mass shooting or another one of these assassination attempts and they got another fall guy, just ask yourself, I wonder if this person is a victim of energy control technology or energy beams or frequency weapons. It's possible. It's quite possible. Now, what will happen if they can put this same technology up in space or in a high altitude flying drone and beam it at a particular city, beam it at a particular country, beam it at a region of the planet or a region of a country, how much control can they gain over the people with their emotions, their actions, their activities? They can create riots. They can create mass hysteria. They can make a very docile public that will not act out on anything. They can make people want to attack each other. They can insert panic into our biology and make us panic and put us in a panic state of mind, fear. They can do anything they want. They can completely remote control us. They can send us to another city to attack everyone in that city. Sounds like the book of Deuteronomy in the biblical text. If you read the book of Deuteronomy, you discover that they're told to go out to different cities and that to utterly destroy and wipe out an entire town. And then when they go to some of these cities, they go and they play these particular frequencies, like the walls of Jericho. They came down from a vibration and a frequency. It's almost as if history just keeps repeating itself over and over again, right? Here we are again in the 21st century. And here this text is thousands of years old, still talking about utilizing very similar types of technologies. Very interesting. But Thoth utilized it to stop himself from getting injured. He did no harm to the people, and then he helped them. But in this day and age, weaponized technology like that, that's supposed to be non-lethal, ends up being used to manipulate and control populations. This is why it's so important for us to get back control of this planet, to take back control of our sovereignty, to take the technology out of the hands of these oligarchs that control it and utilize it against us after we pay for it. So we go to work, we pay them our taxes, they take our money, develop these technologies, which they overpay for so they can split the extra profit, and then they use that same technology against us. That is crazy. And it's crazy because we keep allowing it to happen. And we have to get to a point as a civilization where we no longer will allow these types of things to happen to us. That's what it's come to. I mean, it's really insane what they can do. They can utilize directional speakers that can focus sound into a narrow beam so that people inside the beam hear audio more clearly than people outside of it. And this is not the same as putting voices directly in the brain, but it's still sound that's traveling through air that can be aimed like a spotlight at specific people. And this technology it's all publicly known technology, and it's used in commercial settings. There are places where similar tech has been used in museums and things like that. But they're taking it to the next level, making it more futuristic. A lot of them are using things like laser-induced plasma audio. And that technology uses intense laser pulses to ionize the air, heat up the air to a high temperature, and create small pockets of plasma. And then that plasma can produce sound. And it's been reported that military research says that this laser-induced plasma system could create audible warnings or sounds at a distance. And they can essentially produce sound from the air itself. So they don't even need a speaker anymore. They can create the effect of having a speaker without utilizing a speaker because they can generate sound from plasma in the atmosphere, utilizing atmospheric gases as a to create the cushioned sound wave that can produce the actual detectable audio. Wow. Incredible. They can also use microwaves for audio effects. They can pulse microwave frequencies to create these types of versions of electromagnetic exposure and have an influence on the human mind. They have laser-directed plasma systems that can manipulate the air itself. They have a way to put visions in your mind to get you to perceive things that don't even exist. You can perceive an oncoming threat coming at you that probably isn't even there and get you to respond. And maybe that response is attacking someone within your vicinity that doesn't even know you're there to attack them. But you've been given the illusion that you've got to stop this attack from this person against you or against someone else. It's insane. They've got a lot of technology out here. And it's really, really high tech. But in my opinion, they've taken inspiration from ancient text. Just like Hitler was sending his SS agents around the world. He had them in Tibet, he had them in Kemet, he had them in Mexico, Peru, Bolivia. He had them running through the jungles looking for all the ancient tech. He had them in what used to be Mesopotamia, which is now Iraq, Iran, Tehran, Turkey. He had them all through all these areas, looking and searching and scraping and scrapping for any remnants of ancient knowledge, tech, wisdom, anything, artifacts, so that he can turn it into something he can weaponize and utilize. They are still doing that till this very day. So, pretty interesting stuff, huh? Pretty interesting stuff. So, on a much lighter note, I want to talk to y'all briefly about some technology that I have developed. You see, what my goal is, and this is my third invention, is to be able to develop technologies that help the world, that heal the world, that change the world. That's what my goals and wishes are, is to be a person on the side of technology that's here for something positive. Thank you, Cloud and Klaus, for the donation. And so my first invention was a technology that helped people at restaurants so that when you sit at your table, there's a digital kiosk that you can actually contact the waitress or waiter, let them know that you need a refill or some utensils, or even check out right from the table. Another invention is a specific type of revolutionary AGM battery that I developed years ago. I posted it on my tech company website, First Class Space, many, many years ago, still up there on Forbidden Knowledge and First Class Space, and also Facebook. And this tech is for rolling brownouts. It is a battery that is approximately close to 4 feet, just under 4 feet in length. It weighs a lot, though. It weighs about 80 pounds. It's a very unique array of copper plates in there, the way I set it up. It could be mounted in any position, even upside down, no leaking. And it can trickle charge by a solar panel, or it can rapid charge by being plugged into an outlet. And that one battery can power a small house for up to a week. If you have it trickle charging, it can go indefinitely. And I designed that for a big order that I had. Actually, my biggest order that I ever had for it was just before COVID out of Nigeria. The invoice was for $380 million. Unfortunately, COVID came a week and a half later and shut down the world and kind of threw a wrench in the whole opportunity. But the technology exists nonetheless. You can even put a bank of those together and you can power a big house like the one I'm in right now. You can power a warehouse, completely silent, no carbon monoxide, because it's not a power generator that needs gas. And now I came up with a new technology. And so this technology is revolutionary. It's a first to market, patent pending technology. And I had announced it through a press release just the other day across all the major press release outlets. It's called the 4BK BioKey, the number 4BK BioKey. And I'm going to drop a link in the live chat, and I'm going to show you a little clip and give you some knowledge about what it is and what it can do. It's pretty interesting technology. In 2024, I can't believe that much time has gone by. It's already almost been 2 years. September of 2024, I was very sick with pneumonia. I had people out on tour with me in Turkey. I was out in the desert of San Lurfa, and I really got very sick. I was up to 105-degree fever. I believe I arrived sick in Turkey on the first day, but it had just developed. By the third day, I was at 105-degree fever. But people had paid to come see me. They had paid and come from all over the world. And so I'm thinking in my mind, I'm not thinking pneumonia. I'm thinking, okay, this is a tough cold. I rarely get ill. I rarely get sick. I have an award in the other room that I got from coaching for 8 years, never missing a game, tournament, or practice when I coached U.S. Junior Olympics and AAU and high school basketball, because I never got sick. Even those snotty-nosed kids never got me sick. So when I got this cold in what I thought was a cold in Turkey, I figured I'd just get over it. I'll turn the corner and I'd be okay. Come to find out I wasn't okay. I just kept getting sicker and sicker, cold sweats, enormous amounts of pain in my body. So I said, oh, maybe I got COVID, because I hadn't had COVID yet all the way up through 2024. I still hadn't gotten it, even though I've been around tons of people with it. I still didn't get it. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is what COVID feels like. Maybe I finally got COVID. And so I kept working, and I couldn't eat. So by the 12th day of the tour, I had lost 28 pounds. By the last day, I had to be put into a wheelchair. I couldn't even walk anymore. I was really that deathly ill. Got back to Istanbul, hopped on another flight to America, got to America, finally eventually got to a hospital. And they told me they had to admit me immediately. My blood oxygen level was down to 81. Not good. So they put me in, they started putting the oxygen tubes inside of me, and they put the heart monitor on my chest and everything else, and started taking blood work. And that night in the hospital, I actually died. I died for 15 minutes in the hospital that night, right down the street from my house. And of course, I mean, I came back because I'm here now, but that was a hell of an experience, crossing all the way over and coming back. And the next day, I remember laying down in that bed, completely weak and emaciated, with all the IVs and everything plugged into me, thinking, if I would have had a device in the deserts of Turkey that I could have just simply breathed into, could there be something that could have read my breath, read the bacteria coming out of my lungs, because that's what pneumonia is, a bacterial infection, and told me, hey, you have a bacterial infection. Most likely it's pneumonia. You need to seek immediate medical attention. And that could have avoided all this sepsis and organ failure that I had, and scarred kidneys now from the whole affair. And that led me down a rabbit hole of investigation and research. And so the way that I come up with my ideas for inventions is I first start with a question. So the question was, could there be a device that I could have breathed into to tell me that I had pneumonia? That question led me into the research on NIH.gov into peer-reviewed documents talking about VOCs, volatile organic compounds. Come to find out that every time you exhale, you are not breathing out just carbon monoxide. You are also breathing out data. You are breathing out VOCs, volatile organic compounds, which are molecules that have specific frequencies, particular types of identities to each particular one that can tell a system of filters and sensors exactly what that connects to in the body. It can detect these biomarkers in the human body. And I found that really millions of dollars had been spent studying VOCs over several decades by many different doctors and laboratories all around the world. And all this peer-reviewed information was available at my fingertips because thanks to the internet, right? So the next question was, well, has anyone condensed these 1,000 plus VOC studies into a device? And the answer was no. So then I began my journey there in 2024, working and working and working, all the way into, this year, and got the entire thing done. The invention, the layout, the schematic, the science, the technology behind it, the scaled down sensor arrays, the filtration system, the disposable mouthpiece, and the HIPAA compliant mobile app. So it's called the 4BK BioKey. I'm going to play a short video for y'all. Then I'm going to talk a little bit more about its capabilities and show you how you can maybe get your hands on one, be one of the first people to get one, or maybe even join in round one of funding the project. But let me pull up a short video on the 4BK BioKey and let you take a look at some of the capabilities and some information as to the power of this technology and what it can actually do. Of your life, you breathe over 20,000 times a day. Your breath carries secrets about your health and your metabolism and even your future. From the most ancient civilizations to the most advanced technology today, breath has always been the symbol of life. Today, understanding your health is very slow, extensive, and invasive. Often, we find out too late what's really wrong with us. We wait for symptoms, we wait for diagnoses, we wait for the permission to take control. But what if your body has been communicating the whole time? Through the oldest signal of life itself, your breath. Introducing the 4BK BioKey, the world's first modular AI-powered breath intelligence device. It's designed to transform your breath into real-time wellness insight. The ancients symbolized life with a key, and today that key becomes digital. No needles, no pain, just one breath. With a guided 10-second exhale, the BioKey isolates the most valuable information of the rich portion of your breath. Advanced sensors analyze metabolic gases, respiratory patterns, GI fermentation signals, and volatile organic compounds. This can give you up to 60 different biomarkers. Artificial intelligence then transforms that information into personalized real-time wellness insights right on your phone. Your breath becomes your biometric key to understanding your own biology. Whether you're optimizing your metabolism, tracking fat burning, improving performance, or simply gaining awareness of your body, BioKey gives you feedback, and it gives you feedback as life happens, not months later. This is not a medicine after damage tool. This is awareness before disease. For thousands of years, the symbol of the Ankh represented the key of life. Today, we are bringing the same concept into the modern world, where knowledge, science, and technology unlock human potential. BioKey isn't about waiting to be told that you're sick. It's about learning your body every single day. We've built the foundation, and the science is real. This technology works, the future is ready, and what we need now is the community to bring this vision to full life. Your support helps fund the final device engineering, manufacturing readiness, app and AI expansion, and the first full production of the first run of the BioKey. This is not just a product, it's a platform for the next generation of personal health intelligence. Remember, your breath carries truth. Your breath carries data. Your breath carries power. And now it carries knowledge. Back the future, unlock your biology, and hold the key. The 4BK BioKey, the breath of knowledge. So I've been dropping a link if you want to be involved in being in the first round of the development of this technology. You can do it by supporting there, by actually getting on the pre-order list. You can also look further down that same link on that same page and find out if you want to become an investor in the actual project and share in the profits. So you can research that, check it out. Thank you, Mr. Cutts, and anyone else that I missed for donations today. You can check it out. And again, click that link. There's up to 60 different biomarkers that this device can detect. We're talking about 6 different types of cancers. It doesn't diagnose you. It just gives you health insights and lets you know that you need to go get looked at. You need to go get some blood work done. It will detect pre-dementia, pre-Alzheimer's, and dementia, Alzheimer's, and there's other one that it will detect for you in mental, and it'll let you know that you have a brain illness or a brain disease, right? And so that's important because, especially if it's there are different meds out there now that can slow down the process of the plaques on the brain. There are even some new revolutionary technology that have been helping to reverse things like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and dementia. Those are the 3, by the way. And, finding out things like liver illness, kidney illness, or even oxidative stress in the body. Because it runs on an AI model, it can even predict the next potential heart attack that you're leading up to, and also even predict the next major asthma attack. Again, 2 life-saving health insights. And it can even sync with your Apple Health, Google Health, Samsung Health, and even your Aura ring. And so this technology is really, really revolutionary. It has a lot more to it, SIBO in the gut, H. pylori in the gut, leaky gut, insulin levels in the body, all of this without any invasiveness, no needles, right? No blood work. It's literally tracking the data from your breath and processing that data and giving you health insights so that you can seek the correct medical attention you may or may not need. It can even track positive things too. How many carbs you're burning? Is your oxidative stress being reduced by the supplements and the workouts that you're doing? Are your organs aging in reverse, right? All that can be done through breathing. And the device, a little bit around the same size, a little bit bigger than your cell phone, can fit in most handbags and travel kits and travel bags. This is a device that potentially could be in every single home. And because the mouthpiece is exchangeable and the filtration system on the inside is exchangeable, it can even be utilized by one family. One device can be utilized by one family. One device can be commercialized and utilized in a commercial location. The other day, I was on a flight from Europe, and there was a person on the plane that had a medical situation, and the captain came on and was asking if there was a medical professional on the plane. Nobody was a medical professional, so the flight attendant took out the satellite phone with the big antenna and was calling someone somewhere, and they were walking her through asking this ill person questions, trying to figure out what was wrong with them. What if they had this device and all they simply had to do was breathe into it to get some health insights, and that data could be transmitted then to any medical facility anywhere in the world? So this is important technology. I'm dropping a link in the live chat again right now. If you want to be involved with the 4BK BioKey technology, which is patent pending, which I had posted, and the press release just went out. I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. A press release just went out. You can be involved by clicking that link and being a part of changing the future of health and understanding wellness. All right. Thank y'all for hanging out tonight. You'll be hearing from me more and more about the BioKey. I'll be bringing it up probably on every podcast or every talk that I do. It's a really important technology to me. I'm really excited about it. It's my greatest invention yet. I have a few more coming down the pipeline, but I'm really excited about this invention. All right. I'll talk to y'all again very soon. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out.